What's up? It's your boy Frost Money. Just doing like random like YouTube things and shit like that. Oh, whatever, man. Just putting them out there, man, for anyone that's interested. Whether it get 10 views or 100, like whatever. Like, if someone's interested to listen, I'm always down to talk. So just on the random tip, I saw Straight Outta Compton last night. And it was just like, it was dope as fuck. So like, if you haven't seen it yet, I recommend you go see that shit ASAP. That shit was just hella dope. But it got me thinking about like my life and like my story as an artist. I'm sure a lot of you, especially in the St. Louis area, St. Louis is a little bit behind a little bit. I think most people are on Twitter, but what I noticed in St. Louis is like motherfuckers are still rocking Facebook to the tape pop. So I know I got a lot of friends on Facebook. Some of you might know me well, and some of you guys may just see me. You see me post stats, or you see that I'm hosting shows, or you see that I got a song and stuff like that. And, it can make you kind of curious, like, who is this guy or whatever. To a lot of people, there's a lot of people that see me come up and see me been performing for about 10 years now at places like the Creepy Crawl and the Food Bar and shit like that. And there's also like a lot of new people, people that fuck with me that just know me pretty much from hosting LT shows or whatever. And they may think that I'm a host or some shit like that. Or whatever. So just breaking down the origins, I am Billy Ratliff, aka Frost Money, and it all started, I say like I was 22, and I was in a group called Hit Squad. Hit Squad consisted of me, D-Nail, my brother Block, and Big Country. We all went to Rittner. And we all knew each other through there. So it's pretty much like any rapper, for real. I think most rappers start off in some type of group, like around their high school years and shit like that. So, we was in a group, man, and we would just cut records down in Sleepy J's basement and shit like that. And how I came into the picture is like me and Block are like family or whatever. So they called me up. They was all in the studio. Block was the only one that really knew me for real. D-Nail and Country, and D-Nail and Country didn't know me, and Sleepy J didn't necessarily like me. We used to beef over a chick back in the day, but we're damn near best friends now. But back in the day, the nigga didn't like me. So they was down there freestyling or whatever, and they called me. They was like, and Block was like, "Yo, Frost, man, give him some bars or whatever." And I wasn't really feeling it, like, for real, because ironically, it was around the time that my grandma passed away, and I was very close to my grandma or whatever. But I mean, I still just had 16s on deck, so they was like, spit something. So I killed it. It was like some crazy punchline shit or whatever. Like I used to be like just punchline and barred out back in the day. So I dropped some shit like that on them or whatever. And I remember hearing everybody in the background like, "Wow, yo, that nigga dope." You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to get him out here. So they was like, "Yo, you want to come out?" And I was like, I ain't even put my grandma on the ground yet. So I was like, no. Then I thought about it. I was like, fuck it. Like, I've been sitting in this house, like, mad and stressed out over my grandma dying and shit like that. So let me go out here real quick or whatever. So I went out there. We laid down like hella tracks or whatever. And that's when me and D-Nail met officially. Or whatever, and it was just all love, man. I laid down a lot of tracks. We did a mixtape. I was on like a lot of it, or whatever, and we formed a group called Hit Squad, and we made it pop, and it was some trial and error type shit, because like, even though like I think we were a dope group, our project together never came out or whatever. So it never came out, but I mean, we were just all just kind of learning the game and learning our chops and shit like that. So, things started breaking around. Like, I want to say Block wasn't really rapping like that for real no more. He kind of like, he was in and out or whatever. Country, I think he started running with SS or whatever. So I say shit just kind of slowed down for like a little minute or whatever. And then I came back around and I called Sleepy directly. And I was like, mind you, like this nigga still wasn't really liking me for real because we used to beef over a chick, like I told you before, or whatever. So he still wasn't really feeling me, but he was still cool enough to let me come through and record some tracks or whatever. And I recorded my first mixtape, Shut 'Em Down. Within that process, I would come over to his house like every Sunday, and lay down tracks. And back then, like we called it church because it was on Sunday. And I was like, "Yo, Sleep, man, you ready for that church?" And he's like, "Hell yeah, come through." Or whatever. So I come through, I lay that shit down. So once I started getting it in and I was at it again. D-Nail started coming back around or whatever because, he saw some action. He saw shit was moving. So he came back around. And then, D-Nail started working on his project and on his shit. Back then, D-Nail was on VMP and he was our most talented artist or whatever. To this day, he's still one of the most talented song makers that I know. So all money was on D. Like D was supposed to be like the Nelly of our situation. So he was working on his project and whatever. And like me and D now were like cool, but at that time like I was making money like at my real job. And I was dating this crazy ass female back then. I ain't gonna get into all that. So I was always busy and all tied up when D-Now was working on his shit. They would ask me to come out or whatever and just be around and help out. And I was just like, nigga, what? Like, I'm making this money. Like, I'm not just going to come sit in the studio with y'all or whatever. But that's what they was on and that's what they wanted. And I mean, I did stop by every once in a while. And D-Now was nice enough to let me on like, a track or two or whatever. And I mean, I just pretty much played the bench. You know what I'm saying? I let D-Now do his thing because he was definitely the most capable out of all of us. You know what I'm saying? So D-Now did his thing or whatever. And then like eventually like any typical young group of artists trying to do something, put something together, D-Now left. D-Now left VMP for whatever reason. I mean, if D-Now ever wants to speak on that, he could tell you why or whatever. But it was nothing crazy. It was nothing crazy at all. Like we was always family at the end of the day. So like he left. So once he left, there was just like this void because D-Now was like the song maker. Like D-Now was so tight that like if I was in the studio with him and it came down to like a hook, I don't fuck with no hook when D-Now was here. Let D-Now do that hook because D-Now was a master at hooks or whatever. So it's like, being on a team with someone like Ray Allen or something like that, and they're good at shooting threes, like, I'm not going to shoot the three. Let him shoot the three. He shoots threes. This nigga right here, he cold with them threes. So, like, that's what it was with D-Now around. But since D-Now wasn't around, I felt like it was on me to step up and shoot them threes, if you know what I'm saying. It was on me to step up and start doing some hooks. It was on me to start making some hits and start being a song maker instead of just being that guy that had bars. You know what I'm saying? So I stepped up and we made a shitload of songs or whatever. Just me and Sleepy, man. Like, we just got at it. I was on a lot of hooks. I was just rapping and rapping and rapping. We started performing at the Creepy Crawl together. And then once we started recording music and doing shows at the same time, that's when shit felt real. You know what I'm saying? That's when shit felt on. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we was at that. And we did that, just banging it, man, just banging it. Like, we were learning and shit like that. But like back then, people were just like young and ready. So like a lot of people used to come to the shows back then, and they would just like wild out with us, man. Like from Creepy Crawl to the Food Bar, and we did a good run like that for like 4 or 5 years. I put out a lot of projects in that time. Sleepy put out a lot of projects or whatever. Like we pretty much Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre the shit. Or whatever, and people would say shit about me and Sleepy, like, we couldn't rap and shit like that. And I mean, me and Sleepy was like, all right, cool. Like, if that's how you feel, fine, that's how y'all feel. But that ain't gonna stop us from going out here trying. And that's exactly what it was. You can say what the fuck you want to say about us, but that ain't gonna stop us from going out here and trying. And when we try, we're gonna try hard. So that's what me and Sleepy did, man. We went balls out for years. Just balls out together, man. No homo. Just balls out, just going at it. From the creepy crawl to the food bar. JB came into the picture. He was a singer. He started giving us some hooks and shit like that or whatever. So JB was the man. JB put out a couple projects. We started meeting people like Katie. Katie came into the picture, and she became someone that, you know, helped us out a lot with a lot of behind the scenes shit or whatever. Just a real great person. Nothing but love for Katie. So that's how we were running, man. And then like we hit like a peak or whatever. And this is around the time where I felt like a lot of people started getting familiar with me. Was around the time I did the Almost Famous mixtape, and I had 2020 on it. And we did the video for it, 2020. Around that time, we had that popping. We did some shows in Texas. And, I mean, we thought we were killing the game for real. So on top of me having this song 2020, which was popping at the time or whatever, I was also club promoting on Main Street. Some of y'all may know me as a club promoter. So I was down there on Main Street with my homeboy Promo or whatever, and you know, Roscoe, and I was on her Team Hustle. I was on her Team Hustle like as a promoter, and the thing about the game, like what I don't think people really know is, let me tell you guys something. I made more money in this industry than you would know. I made more money in this industry than probably a lot of these local rappers that you've been feeling. And you say, Frost, how can you say that? Because I don't really know of you to be out here like that. Well, here's what it is. Was I getting paid to rap? No, not necessarily. But I was getting paid to promote these clubs, and I was getting paid to host these shows. And I got paid decently to do that for years. For years, to a point where like I wasn't even really necessarily working my regular job that much. That's how much money I was getting from promoting and hosting and shit like that. And in the midst of all that going on, I was also going in and out of jail. Nothing major though, just traffic tickets or whatever. So just shit like that. So I mean, I was young, I was single, or if I wasn't, I was on my way to being single. So, like, I was just out here wilding out, living that life or whatever, recording this dope music and just running with Team Hustle. And the thing about Team Hustle is they're based around clubs. That's what Charlie does. That's how you know of Charlie Hustle. You know what I'm saying? Of clubs, man. Just promoting and hosting. That's Charlie. Charlie Hustle. The last name ain't Hustle for no fucking reason. The boy could hustle. You know what I'm saying? So, just so many times I've been so fucking drunk and contact high hanging out with Team Hustle. Like, that whole phase is like kind of a blur to me, man. Like, it's kind of a fucking blur. Because, like, we were just doing, like, so much drinking. And them niggas was smoking. Them niggas was blowing blunts on the regular. And we was rocking it down on Main Street, Muddy Waters, man. Some of y'all know me from Muddy Waters or whatever, and we were just rocking it or whatever for a good little time. And everything was everything. But just like everything in the club promotion business, is like the average fucking thing, especially like when it comes to like black clubs or what people consider black clubs, is like you probably get like a good 6-month run or some shit like that. We got like about a year and a half out of Muddy Waters. And then the owner wanted to, they didn't want us up in that motherfucker for real. But on some behind the scenes shit, like Charlie had dipped away from the situation. I guess he wasn't vibing with the owner, and the owner made me an offer to take over. Like pretty much he was giving me Charlie's job or whatever. And like, you know, I thought about it. And then like I was just like, fuck it. I said, fuck it, or whatever. They offered me Charlie's job, and I was like, fuck it. Like, I don't want it. I had a daughter. I had just had a daughter. My daughter was probably like a couple of months old when I officially stopped club promoting on Main Street. I was just like, fuck it. Like, it was some money, but I was just like, I'd much rather be at home with my daughter. You know what I'm saying? And I stepped out of club promoting and shit like that. So people may wonder, like, okay, I met you when you were with Charlie. People who know me from St. Charles, they may be like, I met you from when you were with Charlie, so are you Team Hustle or are you not Team Hustle anymore? The situation with that is, like, I'm the type of nigga, like, yo, if we saying that we doing something, then we doing something. Whether I'm in your face all the time, or whether I'm hanging out with you, or whether I'm at every event that you do, my relationship with Charlie is the same as the last conversation I had with him. And we never had no conversation saying that I wasn't Team Hustle. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm still Team Hustle. You know what I'm saying? I'm still Team Hustle. Am I necessarily involved with everything that Charlie does anymore? No. You know what I'm saying? Is that saying that I'm not willing? Fuck no. Charlie could call me right now today, and if he got something that's on and popping, I'll be right there. It's just people grow up or whatever. The communication ain't there. He's over here doing this. I'm over here doing that or whatever. And, you know, you may think that we don't fuck with each other, or Team Hustle broke apart or some shit like that, or you see that he's not focused on Team Hustle no more. It's just like, what the fuck or whatever. If you think about shit like that, like that's something that's on your mind or something that you ask yourself, just know, as far as Frost Money's concerned, I can't speak of the rest of the niggas that were Team Hustle at the time, but me and Charlie, like, we still cool as the last conversation we had or whatever. Like, he could call me anytime and we could do some shit. You know what I'm saying? So Charlie's always been my dude. He's put me, like, on, like, a lot of hot shows and shit like that, and just put me in some good areas, man. Like, promoting for him helped me build my name. So to this day, 8 years in the game, I still get called to host shows and shit like that, and I owe a lot of that to Charlie from grinding it out with him and putting in that groundwork. You know what I'm saying? So nothing but love for Charlie Hustle and Team Hustle. Like, Team Hustle forever as far as I'm concerned. You know what I'm saying? So it's all love over there. So, you know, and then here's where things got a little tough. I had a lot of things going on. I'm not club promoting anymore, so I'm not necessarily meeting people. I'm not necessarily having the same contacts, and I'm a daddy now. You know what I'm saying? I'm a daddy, so this slowed my music down a lot. So a lot of people be like, "Oh man, it seemed like Frost fell off, or it seemed like he slowed down." Yeah, you're right. I did, because I'm a daddy. I'm a real daddy. I'm not a part-time daddy. I'm not an every other weekend daddy. I'm a full-fledged, hands-on daddy. My daughter's turning 4 in a couple of weeks, and I've been there consistently her whole life, being a great dad. And it's something that I'm very proud of, and it's one of my biggest accomplishments. Anything my daughter wants and needs, like I've always been here. I've always been consistently, you know, doing what I had to do. So right now, within the last 4 years, it's been a juggle of still doing music, being the daddy, but at the same time focusing on making my life more stable so my daughter's life could be more stable. It's not like the old days where I could blow a bunch of money on beats and studio time and not have shit to worry about. I got a whole daughter I got to take care of. So just finding that balance and just juggling it, and that's just like what I've been doing this past 4 years or whatever. I say things started turning up again when me and LT had linked up, and he asked me to host a show for him or whatever. It was a St. Patrick's Day show down at Heartbreakers. It was crazy. It was fucking crazy. It was bananas. Anyone who was down at that show, you know that shit was crazy. Like, I'm not even finna get into everything that happened that night, but that shit was fucking crazy. And it just kept going and going and going. I've been hosting shows for LT for like 2 years now. He pays me consistently. I've been knowing LT for like 10 years. He's like family to me. He's a good dude. LT's my nigga. So like hosting his shows kind of brought me back out here. People are seeing me on a regular basis now because LT's calling me like every other week to host a show for him. So some of you guys know me from that, like you just met me within these last 2 years of hosting these shows for LT, and you don't even know that I've been out this bitch for like 10 years now. So I was hosting these shows for LT. I'm still hosting shows for LT. I think we got a couple coming up or some shit like that. And as I'm hosting these shows for LT, I'm still going to the studio and recording my shit. Go out there, host LT show, perform my new shit, and that's been my process. Record some shit, host a show, perform my new shit. That's been my cycle, and you know that's what's been going on. But now I'm trying to forward it to like a point where like we're gonna put some songs out on iTunes. We're finna get this merchandise going and shit like that. I'm not finna tell you guys my age exactly, but I tell you that like I've been in this game for like a good little minute. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, man, you just gotta step up, boss up, and do it like a grown man. You know what I'm saying? And that's just like what I'm on right now, and that's just what I'm doing. It's still VMP good swag. It's still team hustle. It's still all love. You know what I'm saying? But I'm out here doing what I got to do. And I'm giving y'all this new music. And, you know, I got a beautiful girlfriend now. I got a nice house. You know, I got my car. You know what I'm saying? I got my shit together. My life is together. I don't necessarily need to be out here rapping. But I do it because I got a love for it and I got a passion for it. And just having a voice means something to me. I had people like tell me that like my songs help them get through tough times and shit like that. So it's just like, man, as long as I'm helping somebody, I'm willing to get on the mic and spit some shit. Especially at a time in St. Louis when everything's so fucking tight and so motherfucking tense that like I just feel like someone has to be out here, man. Someone has to be the relief. You know what I'm saying? So everything's so tough and tight in St. Louis right now due to the Mike Brown situation or whatever, man. So it's just like I'm just trying to help people get back to the fun or whatever, man. I'm making positive motivational music, and if it ain't that, it's something kind of party, something that you could turn up to, man. Seeing all these people divided and arguing with each other and seeing shit looking like 1955 in this motherfucker, it's just like, it's really heartbreaking for me because that's not what I'm about. I'm about unity and I'm about peace and love. So it hurts me to see the city like torn apart like that. So what I'm doing, like when I'm hosting or when I'm doing music, man, I'm just trying to bring the people back together. I'm trying to bring the people back together. I'm trying to have a good time, man. I'm trying to have a good time. And also, my daughter enjoys my music. She says, Daddy, I want to hear your song all the time. So as long as Maddie wants to hear Daddy's songs, I'm going to keep making songs. You know what I'm saying? I'm Frost Money, a.k.a. Billy Ratliff. That's my story. I don't know who gives a fuck about it. If you watch the whole thing, I appreciate you, man. For sure. Music coming soon.